Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with Space Ghost to bring you guys the Goblinvite Zone versus Thrembology. This is RGL Invite 6, Season 11, Week 4A, and we're looking at the other side of Invite this time around near the lower middle half, and it should be a decent match nonetheless. Goblin Zone, I think we've covered once. Thrembology, we haven't really covered quite yet, but it's just a lot of stakes, even though it's not for playoffs per se. Thrembology trying to keep themselves out of the relegation zone and solidifying themselves as a solid mid-invite team. While the Goblin Zone, they have their one win, but they're going to need a lot more than that if they want to reach up to where Thrembology is at currently. Obviously, there's a whole half the season to still go, and it's currently underway, but the week 4 is a really good benchmark for your team, and as it comes to a close, this is probably a very crucial win for both these teams if they want to make sure that they meet their own personal quotas of what they have like as an expectation for their team's results.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a Goblinvite Zone versus Thrembology. We are on Snakewater, so it should be a pretty good game coming up. Both these teams, Goblin Zone trying to get some more wins. It's their first season of Invite, I think, for most of them, other than maybe Alexandros and Magma. So definitely gotta get their wins in somewhere. And tonight might be a good opportunity. Whereas Thrembology, they're trying to keep up pace. They're currently 3-5, so if they do better, maybe get some upset wins in the second half of the season. Maybe they could surprise some contenders down the line.
And it's not that bad for a lot of the side of Thrembology. I think they're in a similar boat where they have Wonder on Soldier, and past that, the rest of the squad is relatively new to Invite as well, playing in the league. Just down, I think they're one of the teams that was like one of the. This is the season of like advanced teams from 2 seasons ago moving up, and they're kind of one of those. So. They're definitely showing some promise, and I think going 4-5 is going to be pretty respectable. Yeah, like I said, solid mid-invite team. But before we get too deep into the matchup or even the map itself, what you mentioned was going to be Snakewater tonight. It's probably important to go over the rosters. Like I said, I think we've only personally casted Goblins in once, and Thrembology we haven't yet. So it's an important thing to go over. So Space, go ahead and choose a roster and run it down.
Ooh, my choice. All right. So for the Goblinvite Zone, we have Magma and Deadly Seed on Scout, Tomato Tom and Alexandros on Soldier, Gaia on Demoman, and Zoomzy on Medic.
And for the side of Thrembology, you have JT and Cadet on Scout, Saxophone and Wonder on Soldier, Averted on Demo, and Divine on Medic.
Yeah, definitely should be a pretty good game kill. I'm expecting some maybe Tomato Tom through 6 jump and some Gaia Locka mode action. Remember last time I watched them, I really liked the Locka mode. Was a big fan of it. Was using it. Was kind of terrorizing the other team. It was pretty powerful. So I'm expecting to see that. Thrembology, I don't think we've casted them yet this season, have we?
They've obviously had some matches here and there that are casted maybe by Fireside or just personal player POVs, because obviously it's been 4 weeks into the season, but yeah, we haven't really caught them. So in terms of like just pure RGL viewers, you might be a little bit foreign to what they have to the table. But there should be some aces up their sleeve. They've gotten these wins thus far, and even some of them like they've been pretty close, but maybe even considered upsets. I think one of their victories was against 3D3M, if I remember correctly, which means they have obviously not just been like a mid-vine team that kind of scrapes their way there. They've actually gone toe to toe against some of the more established like mid-invite players and proven that they can come out on top. So in their minds, they're probably considering themselves to be the favorites tonight, just based off of that.
Most definitely. I think going into this match, if you look, looking at the rosters on paper, I think the most established invite player here is Alexandros, and I guess Wonder and
Wonder
Magma.
definitely has the most accolades, but
Does he have
Alexandros,
the most accolades? Okay,
well, the highest accolade, because I
highest
think
accolade.
because Wonder has got barely missed playoffs before. I think the season before he was getting 5th.
Yeah,
So, but Alexandros is a name that's probably existed in Invite for the longest. So it depends on
yeah,
what you
yeah.
look at
Experience
there.
versus accolades.
hmm
But regardless, it's both Pocket Soldiers seem to be leading the charge in terms of experience and accolades respectively. And I believe Zoomzy, we've seen Zoomzy around, maybe familiar Divine from Pugs, and all these players do play a lot of Pugs, so should be some familiar faces if you're familiar with that scene. But regardless, to invite a lot of fresh faces, so I think looking at maybe the map or something, like, is there anything that really sticks out to you in terms of like any one player might have a really good game, especially on Snakewater?
Uh, I kind of have my eyes on the X Factor players because Snakewater's obviously been in the pool for long enough that it's kind of hard to be surprised by anything that is cookie cutter. A lot of the times it comes to off classes, there aren't any super secret hidden plays that like people do to like shove flanks and and stuff like that. I mean, obviously you might not expect it in the moment, but on paper it's just kind of like yes, that's a play that's happened before, and it's less like a super surprising type of deal. And I think that kind of also plays into Goblin Zone's hands a little bit in terms of the X factorness. So even though they might not necessarily be the favorites, they could have something to work with here. When you compare it to maps that are a bit more unorthodox or haven't been in the pool for as long, aren't pug staples, and you kind of run into territory where it's because you haven't played this map for years and years, you kind of run into situations that are somewhat normal, but you just haven't experienced as much. So I'm kind of looking towards the off classes with that said. So I kind of am looking towards, like I said, more side of the Goblin Zone just to go for these type of wacky plays. You can even see it right now. Literally in the pregame, they have 3 pyros. So
I
if
mean
that doesn't say
that's
something, that I don't
that's
know what
powerful.
does. But you can go ahead and kind of see my reinforced thought of, I think both teams are probably trying to avoid things that are like extremely unorthodox when it came to the actual map, because most of the maps, almost all of the quote unquote upset maps are just gone. They're
Yeah,
out of the
yeah,
pool.
the first 4 bands are the 2 Koths, and then Villa and Sultry. So those are all like the big upset maps. Those are all the big like kind of X Factor. Maybe don't know what to expect maps, and Koth as well. So those are all like the immediate like, oh, I don't want to play that out of the way, and then from there it's just process and sunshine.
Yeah, which is definitely a play style type of deal. It's definitely saying that if you wanted the fight but to be just between the scouts and let them have the potential to carry the game, Thrembology wasn't really having any of that. So they definitely want to have everyone put the work in. And Snakewater can be a much more snowbally type map where if you really want specific players to be able to succeed and carry, they can't do it by themselves. It requires like a baseline amount of effort and success coming from your teammates, because it can be difficult to try to achieve your job if other players are completely shut down. Where when you reach these other like wide open maps like Process and Sunshine, if someone doesn't really have that good of a game, it's kind of open enough to where someone can find the space to get in and maybe they can salvage. But the salvaging is going to be much different here.
Yeah, and Snakewater mid in particular, I feel like you really need good coordination, or else things could quickly turn into disasters. Especially, you can have a player go behind, and then the team could wipe and stuck behind. There's all kinds of like things that can happen in Snakewater that can be kind of rough. It's not as brutal as some of the other mids, but it's definitely a mid. The one thing I could say that's good, that's relieving the Snakewater is you can't end on the other side, other team's side of the map. At least you can end on your side of the map almost all the time.
Yeah, I will say though, the importance of the mids is probably even more so towards this is one of the harder lasts to push out of, rather than emphasizing on the mid fight itself. It's not about the difficulty of recognizing like what do I need to do in the mid to win. It's like, okay, if it does go wrong and you end up on last, good luck getting out of it. It's almost like a metalwork situation type of deal where it can be a bit rough, and the other team might not even need to do like 3 mans or anything like that to get the force. So it can be a bit difficult, but we'll see who ends up on that side of the coin. As predictions have been running, it's actually, it was relatively even for a bit, but it's actually, people are kind of leaning towards the Goblin Zone. Despite the wins that Thrembology have collected so far. Space, any thoughts? As actually
I actually kind of agree with that. I was gonna go against the green, or at least I thought I was. And I was gonna say I'm gonna go for the Goblinvite zone. I think that the Goblinvite zone could definitely. I think this is gonna be even, bare minimum. And I think Goblinvite Zone definitely have the potential, as we do have 5, Magma.
Okay, so what happened is Magma tried to switch classes, accidentally switched teams, and then when he switched teams, it made him dead and not available for the rollout.
And also on heavy.
Yeah, and on heavy, so they just read. So that was a bit of a fake roll, but it gave us time to talk about our preds, and I'll throw in my 2 cents. I think that the shenanigans that Goblin Zone are going to be able to pull off on this map are probably pretty valid and pretty possible, but I'll lead with like a Thrembology 4-2. As we're here to the first mid, both Delman. They're already starting the spam. We do see the lock and load straight out of the gate from the side of Gaiwas, so that's already some shenanigans that are on the field. As soldiers from either team going behind. Alexander's committing, but Wonder actually popping out of the same door. Double bomb onto Gaia, trying to eliminate him up against the wall. JT will be able to collect that frag, and almost on a Zoomzy as
He's
well.
on to Zoomzy, but Zoomzy's dodging.
Zoomzy is juking and jiving his Magos and collects 2. Divine being one of only 3 left alive. 2 left alive from the side of Thrembology. It is just Cadet not in a position to go and chase onto Zoomzy. They're on the opposite side as the map is. I mean, it took a little bit too long for them to clean up on the side of Goblin Zone, and that's going to be the thing that takes the cake is Goblin Zone. They've taken this first mid.
JT had such a great opportunity there to get Zoomzy, and just Zoomzy moved in such a weird pattern. It was impossible, and JT could not collect the medic kill. So that's pretty good. Whereas on the side of Thrembology, I saw that towards the end, Averted just got shot down by the scout. So I think towards the end there, like, both teams could have lost their medics and it could have basically evened out. But one medic lived, the other didn't. So that team is pushing second now.
Yeah, high bomb from the soldier, trying to make space. Thrembology have not quite committed, and actually Saxophone is able to bomb in at 39 HP, unable to make any space, and that just means the Goblin Zone. I mean, Zoomzy's taking a little bit of spam, but it's actually Wonder that's going to be the one that gets bombed, and not being the person that's bombing is, Zoomzy gave up a lot of health, but there's packs, there's pills for him to take. The Uber's still intact, and it's still technically ad. 30%. They're walking in, they're banging on the fact there's no sniper, they won't get headshot.
There's no sniper, they're just on the point.
There's no force happening. The greed paying off with a drop. The greed finally punishes them around the corner as this pop goes out, but they're unable to work their way to get any frag here in last. So what a great play, making sure the spam, even though it wasn't there early, it came in at just the right moment to make sure this Uber went nowhere from the side of the Goblin Zone.
It was such a good opportunity, and they were just, like you said, slightly too greedy, unable to get it. And now we do have Thrembology. They're trying to push out a last, but like you mentioned, it can be a quite challenging last to push out of. There are a lot of things happening. We do see a demo going full. He full sent it, went away. Alex is gonna get caught out. Guy gonna manage to make his way, and everyone else.
Tom
losing one over, but Tomato Tom also unable to get out, and that means both soldiers are going to be down for the side of Goblinvite Zone, and they do have an opportunity to push in here, and Uber's actually relatively even, so it's not huge Uber disad, not really a leapfrog situation. They just gotta somehow defend mid without two soldiers.
And without the 6v4, there's no point for Goblin Zone to stay at mid, so they're right for the backing up. Guy almost dying, just sticky jumping away just barely, but I think this ad from the side of Zoomzy should be bigger. I guess he wasn't healing or something, or they weren't building, or it was a pretty quick use up from the side of Thrembology, but this ad should be bigger, and they're walking into Saw like it should be that, but it's only 15 ads, so they are about to be be welcomed by some blue shiny people as the pipe goes out. But Divine, 91%, never mind.
Got him.
Never mind, 15% ad is all you need as they ducked into kitchen, but no one followed Divine as Divine went into kitchen, so it doesn't matter, 91%,
They
dead.
did not expect that.
So, almost a misplay from the side of Goblin Zone, but hey, misplay back from the side of Thrembology means good. The Goblin Zone train keeps running, and they have their Uber ready to go. Is not only did they use that Uber, they picked up Divine's metagun. It's already ready, and I don't know if Thrembology knows this
I don't think they knew. They weren't even aware of the first thing, but they're going to get Tomato Tom, so they're going to be 5v6, but honestly, this Uber is so big, they could just push in if they really want it. If they could wait, just wait for Tomato Tom.
Yeah, they might be a bit greedy here in terms of positioning for the blue team, but no, it will be fine.
I don't think blue team expected it either. The surprise factor again. They're going to see if it's going to come out, but again, they lost. That's the second time that they've lost the scout trying to cap the point. There's another scout at the point. He's so hurt, but they can clean up Sax at the end, but that's it. So that's twice now. The initial scout trying to pressure the point and get the time.
Divine's dead, though.
They're going to get Divine. But yeah, Goblinvite Zone is really struggling, just making sure the scouts trying to pressure the cap actually stay alive.
Yeah, one of them was a trap, but the very first one was just spam. Just didn't really work out. Baited the point and stayed a little bit too close to the soldiers and ended up dying. So a lot of cap time, but not quite enough, as we do see a sniper out on the field. But as in Saxophone is going to be on
Sniper is very good on defense here, so we can see if he can at least get one shot off. Gonna take a peek. The angles are pretty good, but he's gonna like to back up. Wasn't quite there in time, so not able to see too much. Gonna back up the spawn. This is gonna be another large Uber ad for the side of Goblinvite Zone. Maybe attempt number 3 will be the one they're able to, push last. Third time's the charm. We do have a Putis on the field and an engineer, so all the standard off classes like you'd like to see on last are in play.
Yeah, standard 50% ad. Looking to see if they want to go lower or go up to Shutter, but they're poking through lower. They think they can maybe milk it just a tad, and they are actually. They milked it about halfway, able to get to the gun and take that down. Lockno doing its work as they once again Deadly Seed. The third time, it's starting to be Deadly Seed's fault actually. Zoomzy not even able to give Uber to the scout, just going in way too deep, and before that post even begins, it's just over. So bit of a misplay from the side of the Goblin Zone. Started off strong, but kind of flopped near the end as Thrembology. They don't have the Uber quite yet, but they're already starting to dry. They've put a lot of pressure on the lower and through kitchen, but and through cheese, but overall trading 1-for-1 in the soldiers. But they do have their Uber still available. Didn't have to use it, just took it with brute force very, very quickly. And speaking very quickly, they're going straight towards kitchen, committing to it. No spam. We're on the door. Might be able to.
Tomato Tom though gets the force.
Tom, he will give his life for it, but does successfully get the force. But Deadly Seed, a little bit too far forward, trying to get the pack pop around, trying to get out. Will eventually find a slippery escape as will keep themselves alive, but overall point taken by the side of Thrembology.
Yeah, we do have demos setting up traps, so there's going to be some small amount of traps. getting set up over what looks to be Hat, as this is another sizable Uber ad for Goblinvite Zone, and you know, I guess if they don't have to pressure the point, we'll have to see how they actually want to push this. Last time they got mid, it was kind of a surprise play, I feel like. You know, it was like, basically it wasn't ad, but it was, you know, 10% ad, good enough for us as we'll go in. However, this time, Blue's going to be definitely more aware, and it looks like they are aware, as Red is going to actually try to...
Kitchen.
They're actually going to fake Kitchen, and maybe they're going to try to slow push, we'll see. If Blue backs up far enough, they got to be a little careful, as... Oh, Alex is going to take a lot of damage, but they're going to have to back up. Blue's going to give this up. Red's going to take this without using, which I actually really like that. They're able to take it without using, just equalize it, and set up some sacks into second.
That's a really good play. Just kind of fake Kitchen. They even went into Kitchen to shove the guy out and then just backed up and went around the other way. They knew they had a decent enough ad to work with, and that would make them be afraid and back up to mid, to their own side of mid, just enough to make sure that the lower door is actually, you know, it was safe enough to walk through and not be afraid of bombers or, you know, feeling like they can milk it, and they do succeed. So taking it for free, Tomato Tom actually doing a bit of a fake, not committing quite yet.
Tomato Tom unable to
commit. He is committing onto Divine. Doesn't really quite hit any rockets. Last one will hit, but it's too little too late as Alexandros has fallen, and both soldiers from the side of Thrembology are on the move. One dies to Guy's trap, the other one dies to Tomato Tom spam, and 2 soldiers dead immediately inside Saw. I mean, there's a lot of extra room for Goblin to
Alex
be
does
on
have
the
a very unfortunate spawn though, so I'm able to really get to much by dying.
Tom.
That's an immediate headshot rocket, and that's going to be a free force for Tomato Tom. As that initial rocket did so much, Averted had no choice, or Divine had no choice but to pop.
And the positioning was really great too. Noticing that there was no one actually on that high ground.
No one could counter jump him.
Yeah, no counter jumping because both soldiers were dead. No scout got up there preemptively for a potential bomb, so it was just free. Just stay up there, free real estate, shoot down, get the force, and now they have an ad to work with. Walking in the grass, they don't have their one soldier quite there yet. When Alexandros is holding Saw, some spam going in, but Saxophone, his bomb, actually just kind of screwed up his own health, so isn't able to commit quite yet. They're actually wanting to go after really greedy. Saxophone going in towards the flank, a bit solo, gonna go launch into the air, but the right team has already worked their way into lower. They're kind of just sitting
there's
on
a sniper though.
not really realizing the presence of the right team. They've lost 2, but they're behind. Divine immediately melts. This is uber surprising. Hello, the reason why you got 2 kills is we've been behind you the whole time. They collected a couple. The sniper
watch out for Wonder.
Watch for the collapse. Bomb coming in. Saxophone and Zoomsy dying to the rocket. Only 2 left alive from the side of the Gamma zone. And their flank play was tremendous, but the aftermath of this, the fact that they lost 2 from the Wonder Sniper, means this post is not in their favor. Their medic dying so late in that, and at the end of the day, 2 is not even captured in their favor. Thrembology continues to hold on.
True, Wonder still on Sniper. He's going to actually back up, and let's see. It looks like he's going to stay on it. You get that 2K, you do definitely might want to feel like you're on it.
Averted just ate them.
Averted, you know, found the traps, didn't die. Good job, I suppose. Might not be intentional, but that's the way it's going to be. As Goblinvite Zone back to being even, but only 1 minute 45 seconds left this time, and not even anymore, as that is a free soldier pick from Wonder again on a 3K now.
Yeah, just a straight up dry, so you can technically call that a sack, I suppose, if you're trying to cope just a tad, but that is not going to be happy for the side of the Goblin Zone. Is
He's killed 4 soldiers.
Yeah, they have some room to work here, but Magma, Kitchen,
behind.
watching behind.
He's
takes
so
a couple
hurt.
shots, Divine's 17 HP, but no one is in position to go ahead and clean up, and that guy is low and forward, and he might even die. You know, he's fine, he's backed up, but really good job from the side of Thrembology. Almost kind of screwed it just a tad there with the Magma play, but still holding on, still prevailing. This Wonder Sniper is causing a chaos for both these teams. There's tons happening, but still even Ubers available for both of them, not expended throughout the whole endeavor that was the fight over mid. Is a lot of aggression from the side of Alexandros, but it's just gonna get him killed. I don't know what, maybe, I didn't even see what damage he took as
he just ate a rocket, a 100 damage rocket as he fell. Tomato Tom gonna attempt the bomb, but gonna actually end up backing up there. JT and Sax very far in, but Goblinvite Zone actually committed to this, but they're gonna lose more players. They just keep losing players before this fight's even happening. No Uber popped as Sniper's still alive, but they're just gonna back on last with Uber Red. So this slow play with the Snipers really ended up favoring Thrembology.
Yeah, their solution to this problem has been bombing a soldier and aggressive to try to make sure there's space in the game, but it's just causing their soldiers to die. At what point do you pull the trigger and say that the Uber needs to be used? I mean, I guess the soldiers are dying so quickly that you can no longer plan B and have your an Uber, because there will be no post. You've already lost too many, but definitely might be back to the drawing board when it comes to Goblin trying to deal with this. As Wonder is going to collect another. Magma down. Overall 1-for-1 trade. The Saxophone is currently dead. As Alexandros has to be careful through lower. He might get shot by a couple people. 31 HP. They're on the chase. The arrow comes in. He's fine. The gun's up. Will be okay, but they're playing with fire right now in Goblin Zone. They have to be careful with this.
Yeah, they do have to be careful, but Wonder on a 5k rano, and it's been a slow 5k. You've just been constantly getting a pick or two. Oh, I might have spoken too soon.
The
As
sticky
he got
bounced
in.
off his model. He got bounced in. The sticky launched off his model back towards the demo man.
You should be
Just
able to
sticky bomb
yeah,
thing.
you should be able to just sticky the enemy sniper. Let him run around as a tactical nuke. But yeah, Wonder gonna try to go for another peek. The stickies have been cleared. He's actually gonna back up, and they're content with just slow playing, just waiting for Wonder to get a pick. If you're down one soldier already and he's on a pick class, might as well just play off of that as it is. And it looks like they're gonna be open shutter. Let's see if they can find anything to shoot though. There is a demo in the way, but
They shot Gaia, but
they finally got him. Wonder
Also,
is down.
do note that Alexandros did switch to battalions throughout all this as he collects this kill. So he's at 20.
That's two.
Or he's at 30.
Tomato Tom is behind. Tomato Tom is in. He's going for the force. Oh, that's so
That
close.
almost hit.
Almost, but not quite enough, as that is going to be a spy on the side for Wonder. So Wonder deciding that, soldier class, overrated. Off classes, now that's where it is.
Yeah, still
Alex gotta be careful,
No force is happening. Overall, just a trade. Okay, banner reset. No longer in the picture unless he respawns on it again, but I mean, it's buying more time for this Wonder Spy to work in. If you have an extra person
you're not going to
die,
expect them to sack in this situation, too.
Yeah, if everyone's up, then you kind of expect the sack to go in. Oh, he just wants to get Alexandros. He literally wants you to spawn.
I think he ran out of cloak. He's on the right watch. I mean, the spawn camp theory is very smart, but Alex, he doesn't go out the right spawn door, so Wonder is just going to be tactically waiting here. I think he's gonna.
If they shove Tomato Tom and Tom goes back to spawn,
wait, if he cloaked?
Yeah, there you go. Oh.
He's gonna go for the. Oh, he bumped into Magma. Magma knows. Magma bumped the spy. They know.
In a way, it's good for the spy for JT to die because it's more chaos than he might. No, isn't able to walk to the demo. Overall, a 3 death sack here, and that's a lot of room for the Goblin Zone.
That is a lot of room. Especially look how close they want to go. Blue wants to go for this exchange. Look how close they are. At least it looks like that. But they gotta be careful. They gotta be careful as red team is just streaming in, and they're not getting stuck in the doors at all. Sax is gonna go try to bomb, but unable to get anything. They bought a little bit of time for some players to get here, but Avernant's gotta be careful, and he's gonna get dropped. Who hasn't used their Uber yet though, but they already got 3 with this, so it's another 3 person. They're gonna have to back up, and Goblinvite's taking the point, but using their Uber to get it, and full Uber to side, but 3 players still yet to spawn, and they're gonna be a bit delayed.
Yeah, if you Uber and get 3 players, you're totally happy with that. You denied the spawns, you know there's very little room here.
Oh, but the trap on a great start. Alex is getting nuked as well, but he actually gets Cadet.
They got both scouts too. That means even though blue team has ad, they don't have the scout speed to actually chase, and that means they don't even want to begin to take it. They've correctly played this Goblin Zone. They might even have Sax as well, and Sax has fallen. The shoe's on the other foot now. Goblin Zone, they've turned things around. They've done what some view as the impossible sometimes, and brought their way outside of their own Snakewater last, gone all the way back to mid, and I mean, technically, Divine still has a super. They could push right now, but they know the flank is weak. The side of Goblin Zone, the Saxophone is not quite there, and the super, it's going to be even weaker. It says no down in the trap from Gaia.
And they lost Cadet too.
The pipe and rocket combo taking down Cadet means there's no one that was going to be able to take the super for the side of Thrembology.
It's so much easier to spam with it just because you can be so far back and the locker room pipes just go at like Mach 5 into the choke, and that's going to be Sax down. They're actually going to go for the exchange, see if they can get kills. They're going to get Tomato Tom, but they actually, Zoomzy is going to force, so it's going to be an exchange, but that is going to be a one-shot. As we do have Wonder going behind on Soldier. I don't know if he's been spotted. It looks like they are going to spot him now, but not before he gets in. He gets a solid damage, and is he going to be able to get out? No. Nice rocket there from Alex. Going to end up cleaning up Wonder, and that's going to be 3 people down for the side of Thrembology. One of them being the medic.
Averted play went for a lobby play, but it isn't quite on last yet. So Goblin Zone, they're just walking onto the point, trying to get a lot of cap time. Averted has to walk onto it. It's going to give up his life in overall Goblin Zone. Able to take the first round, 1-0, swing all the way back from their own last at that.
Yeah, initially they at the beginning of the game, Goblinvite Zone, they had 3 opportunities to push last with large Uber, failed all of them. Their one last push that was successful was the non-Uber just push in 3 players down. So Goblinvite Zone, they still gotta show that they can push last with Uber ad. They have not been able to do it yet, but I guess if you don't get in that situation, it doesn't matter.
Yep, on another mid here. Immediately we see bombs that are going to commit somewhat. Actually, their soldiers collide in the air.
Oh, that's
mid,
a pause.
And that is a pause.
But look where Wonder is, and look what he's looking at. The damage.
Wonder and Alexandros collided mid-air, and both did not go where they wanted to go.
This rocket could do 300 damage. This could be an insane rocket if Wonder has one loaded.
And the pipe too might hit Deadly Seed.
Yeah,
I don't know about Deadly Seed's momentum right now. As like,
it's
it
a
might
lock
just
and
be
load pipe, so it's basically hit scan. So we'll see.
Well, averted's not on the lock and load. It's Gaia.
Oh, true.
So the blue pipe. I mean,
Well, look at
depends
this
on how
red
Deadly
pipe
Seed's
too.
moving. Yeah.
That's aimed. I think that's gonna hit Cadet depending on what way he's going. But lots being traded back and forth. But I mean, look at the positioning here. Who do you think wins this? Like, red is more far forward, but I'm seeing a lot of damage potential for blue.
I think Tom isn't really in the picture right now. Is the thing. He did his bomb, and it was like kind of fake. It was a half committal. He like spammed the roof, but it didn't really do too much except screw over his own HP. Meanwhile, look at the damage from the side of Thrembology. Thrembology doesn't. They're not really hurt to like an extreme extent. I feel like the Goblin Zone soldiers as a whole are not really healthy enough to
there we go. That was a lot of damage.
Hit.
The rocket was a lot of damage.
Prepared. Zoomsy dead too. Just the scattergun from JT, so no medic available. They're trying to find a way into Divine, but too far away. That initial bomb.
Sex.
That initial bomb just wasn't it. They're actually full sending it. I mean, if
they got averted.
They got 2. I mean, it's probably not who you were after, but at least it's something. It means that it wasn't a total feed. So it's just the jump start from Goblin Zone wasn't quite it, and Thrembology adapted pretty well to the situation.
They did adapt pretty well, but this is going to be like kind of a late mid cap. So if they build this well, they might get Uber. You know, they might not be able to get Uber, but they can get close at least maybe. You know, they can equalize it more than you'd expect, especially considering look how late Averted's death is. Averted's going to be slow in the rollout, which is going to delay this whole operation.
Yeah, it can kind of bring you into what you would used to call Saw territory, except you see no Saw from the side of Zooms. You still saw him bow. So,
the hit is good.
So it's not really going to matter. But actually, it's building up to 50%, so I mean, it's pretty solid. But they're actually, Tomato Tom Pyro was coming to get the shutter. Is going to stay on it. They know this Pyro is here, though. They might be extra prepared for it now. Do they have 2 Pyros?
Is that allowed?
They have a Pyro on the gun as well. They kind of almost. Right. Oh no, they give him their demo of all classes. It's gonna be Guy that's the first one to fall. That's why the double Pyro to reflect the spam.
That's gonna make this very hard.
Cadet just steps on top of it, and that is probably the worst kill you want to give up. A little bit of a slip up there from the side of Gaia in the Goblin Zone is Thrembology. They tie it up 1-1.
I actually don't mind the 2 Pyros if you can get, like, if it's a last where there's 2 main doors and, like, a crappy door, maybe, but
I mean, one was on the shutter, one was on the gun, and that means it was hard to get through the shutter, it was hard to kill the gun, and then neither of them die, but...
I like the theory, maybe the execution was lacking.
Gaia was a bit too greedy.
Yeah, if Gaia lives there, they can, like, all the people died other than Gaia just trying to block the point pretty much, so other than that, we'll have to see, but Alex is already behind in lobby, looks like Sax is going to chase him, so that might be Alex, yeah, Alex not looking too well, Sax is going to get that kill and get the pack, so he's going to be pretty healthy.
Seed.
And Seed down, that means that some Goblinvite, so 2 back up here, we'll have to see how they go. And Wonder is behind, he's creating a lot of space, he's going to get the pack, and Tomato Tom's going to fall as well, but did he get Sax as a true?
Yeah, got the lock and load. Another lock and load on the JT maybe. Was that? I didn't see if it was a scattergun or a lock and load, but either way, they did enough to damage to kind of thwart the chase from the side of Thrembology, but Thrembology, they're fine with this. You know, they got mid. Is it starting to cap right now? JT, they did cap mid. They chased so much onto 2. And they kind of read the jump from Goblin Zone once again, except it was the other soldier this time. But Goblin Zone, they recognize that if they, if they don't be too careful, they could be able to kind of pester these people that are holding 2, but they actually give up Deadly Seed. And they had ample opportunity and Tomato Tom. I mean, at least it was a trade with Cadet, but they kind of knew that Saxon was dead. JT had to go back to cap.
Oh, you're going robot-y. We'll have to see. Yeah. Jarrett is going to turn into a robot, but that's going to be a sack as Wonder unable to get to much. And JT very far, unfortunately, going to be able to dodge the pipes and escape his way out of lobby. As that's going to be pretty much a 2-man for the side of Thrembology, but not too much as we do have Alex on Spy. And it looks like he is checking off classes, seeing what kind of sneaky off classes Wonder is going to be up to, but it's a little too early. And Wonder is going to spawn on Soldier. Alex is checking and unable to find too much, and he does indeed confirm there's some Soldier. Says Alex, he's still on Spy. He's being very thorough about this off-class checking.
The funny moment where both spies check for other spies and say they're running Spy, but they're not running Spy.
Yeah, that's always a good one. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it does happen. As yeah, Thrembology are kind of taking their sweet time here. It's already a minute 30 ticked off the clock, and not much has really happened other than that one sack. Oh, we do see a banner from the side of Wonder, so that actually is the play. You're going to see the slow banner play as they want to get this. And Alex, too, we got that double banner. Let's go.
Yeah, back on it. They're poking lower. They're trying to see if they can find a way to spam this gun, but even if they poke through lower, it's a bit too deep to actually get onto it. They're probably going to have to address it from drop down or maybe even shutter like from a demo. But yeah, they're moving over there now, trying to make sure it's cleared out. Tomato Tom went over for a buff, recognized that he can't be too careful there. Nice spam onto the
Yeah,
blue
I was gonna say,
shoulders.
yeah, you and I both saw that. Very good spam there from Tomato Tom, hitting two or three solid directs on both soldiers. So it's gonna put a wrench in the works. But oh, the dispenser, they need to say, okay, the dispenser saved, crisis averted.
And Thrembology have a little bit of time, but, you know, only so much. It's going to be really hard to actually play off of any sort of banner, so they really have to make sure this gun can go down so they can do actual sacks, or just say screw it and do the sacks and hope it's enough firepower to, you know, make the gun not really care. They're trying to pressure over on this right-hand side. They get Deadly Seed. JT's still in as well, will eventually die. The overall 1-for-1 trade, not really going to lead to too much. I mean, the NG being dead could be huge because any damage onto the gun is permanent for the next, 10 seconds or so, but they still have to get through the spam of Alexandros, and it's not too easy. They're just feeding each other's banners realistically.
Yeah, they are really just feeding each other's banners. So looking at the HUD, it does look like Alex does have his banner already. They're still trying to get theirs. It is probably faster to get it on defense because they kind of have to peek into you. Last year, Alex just has to content to sit on last. And they also, not only do they have to avoid the spam, but they have to spam the gun as well. So it's going to be harder on offense.
He wants the battalion sack.
Yeah,
rocket.
Interesting, alright. Oh, there he goes.
Not quite it.
Interesting theory, though, especially, I don't know if you really want to... what do you think? You think there's potential of battalion sack or not really?
I mean, maybe if you really think that all it is you getting burst down too hard, and otherwise you trust your ability to get it on your own. You're
gonna take more damage from the jump though than otherwise. I guess if you have full 300, they can see it. Oh, guy might be caught out. It's just gonna be exchanges. Guys laying stickies behind it. That's gonna be averted. Caught in. Is he gonna be able to escape? Oh, he is.
Blue banner post.
The blue banner is gonna be posted. They're gonna try to get in through shutter. There's no gun to block it. It just 6 classes at who it is, and he's caught out. Deadly Seed's dead. They're not quite expecting it. This banner is doing so much work.
Yeah, they got a lot of cap time as well. Guy wasn't in a position to sticky it off, so now the floodgates have opened, and Thrembology, they've done it. Not only did they get the entry pick, but the rotation was perfect. Goblinvite did not really see that coming. How when they left that right-hand side from the defender's perspective, where the Uber was, they were not prepared at all for the rotation to shutter, and that kind of helped get that heavy kill so easily. It was kind of just alone.
Yeah,
the floodgates opened
even
more.
It could have been a disaster if Averted got caught out, but the fact that guy used all of his stickies to try to catch out Averted, and then he wasn't able to, just means that they were able to walk through. They correctly realized we could just walk through the shutter for free. Let's just do that. And then there's just 6 players taking less damage on last. Quite a hard situation to be in, but settling into another mid. Both teams are just going to trade spam at least right away. We do see Alex behind. He's going to fight Sax again, and Sax is going to live with 2.
Divine did fall though, so no heals for the side of the blue team, but Wonder found Zoomzy alone, 1 rocket, and the second one will collect that medic, so 2 left alive from the side of the Goblin zone. Not really in Tomato Tom, it's just Deadly Seed. Maybe we'll find Wonders. Wonders on the chase, wants to take this 1v1 soldier battle. Tom is having none of it, might find the other soldier variety instead. Is Deadly Seed still, running around mid, trying to find someone. Will find Saxophone. Was
this is going to be annoying to deal with.
Yeah, extra annoying is he's behind, he's fine. They're a little bit cautious as they're rolling out. JT
look, he's going to wait and see if he can spawn camp someone. The timing, though, can he kill Cadet? He's going to get the pack. Cadet is going to spawn him, scout 1v1, and Cadet's going to get 2-shot.
He didn't want to take the 1v1, but it was forced. But Wonder is here, trying to take out this rocket. This could be independent.
This scout is
too many missed rockets. Deadly Seed's on a 5-1,
and he's behind.
The perfect play. All the chaos, it just crumbles.
He's an MGE player. He had that was insane. He just won like 3 or 4 1v1s in a row.
It's probably like Cadet ran away. Sometimes you know who the person is on the other team, and you're like, yeah, I don't want to take that 1v1, but Saxophone's in the point corner. Checked though. Dead.
That's an old school reference, I think.
It is.
I was gonna say, I wonder how many people in the chat even know who Boink is.
I'm having flashbacks today, but this Uber, it's close to available from the side of Zoomzy, 95%, and arriving there is no sniper, but you have a pyro engineer for the side of the blue team, all over on this left-hand side, so no spam will be able to initially take off this gun before the Uber rings out. Slowed things down enough to make sure the Saxophone doesn't need respawn, so they have their full team of 6, but they've seen and recognized there's no sniper, there's no one here to get this force rate. They're halfway in, but they will not repeat the same mistakes as last time. The Uber comes out.
They're gonna try to get kills before hiding in spawn. This is where you need the point time, and they got none. They're finally getting point time now, but is it too little, too late? There's so many players on the point. Tomato Tom's gonna be behind. It's just Alex, and it's just Zoomzy. Zoomzy's committing to last. Alex gonna try to get on the point, but unable to, and it's gonna end up in the one time they actually needed to play the point because they were all hiding in spawn. They were so afraid of having players dying, they did it too late.
Yeah, the heat of the moment decision making there was definitely not it for the side of Goblin Zone. If you're taking an Uber into last and you don't see any kills that you can see as obtainable, and you just go to the point and make them come to you, but that decision so what's needed to have happened just happened a little bit too late. They didn't have Uber left at all for when the soldiers bombed in. You want some a little bit left. So when they bomb and you reflash that scout and he gets the kill, but it's going to lead to Thrembology drawing in the mid off of no actual advantage. It's just straight up 6v6 here. Everyone's Guy's in a bit of a weird spot, but it's going to be Saxophone that is the first one to fall.
And Alex is behind. This could be very bad. They're going to get Deadly Seed, but Alex is committing as well. He's going to get on the medic. Oh, the medic's so hurt. Oh, he landed on the rock.
On the rock to kind of negate the amount of fall damage taken, but it didn't matter. It's too much.
That was so close. That was almost, I feel like that was like a couple pixels or two away from him not taking fall damage, but not matter in the end, as they sacked 3, but they got the medic, so, you know, worth it in the end, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of a risky play, but the thing is, Goblin Zone, they recognize there's a window of time here where Divine was not able to buff any of these players. It'd be forward holding doors. Under's here, but just barely 200 HP, gonna get just chipped away, and the doors have opened, but they've kind of given up too much HP themselves. They failed this entry. They've lost one Deadly Seed. It's gonna be the first one to fall. Tomato Tom, actually, okay. He almost died his spam on his way out, but will be fine as a little bit too slow. They're recognizing that the window was available. Oh, Sticky's just blown all the way on to JT, and Saxophone almost dying there, but JT might still die as well. Yeah, still dies from the Tomato Tom rocket. So Uber available from the side of the Goblin Zone as the flank has been collected. They've lost one, but they can still technically push with this. They have the ad to work with.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, both teams are down. It's basically 5v5.
Eat the trap.
He's going to eat the trap, and he's going to fall, but we'll have to see if they can get any kills to compensate. And it looks like, no, Goblinvite Zone, they're going to back up, actually. And that could be a risky decision, considering they have 3 minutes left on the board, and there's only 3 minutes and 50 seconds left on the map time.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to make sure you collect another round of the books before the infinite overtime hits. But ooh, a nice pipe onto both the scouts, gonna slow things down. So when the soldier bombs in, there's not a lot of extra pressure, and Wonder just falls. So that's a sack attempt from the side of Thrembology as they begin to back up and trap things off. It's Goblin Zone, they're on the move. Alexandro bombs over to the pack and actually finds a Verdant and spam from Tomato Tom.
That's huge.
Is able to take him out, so no stick is available from the side of Thrembology. They're still trying to hold on the mid, but quickly have to concede some of these doors. It's actually Saxophone bombs in, finds a lot of damage on Tomato Tom, but takes
they missed the bow.
It might be the death of him. No, the second one does connect. He is still alive. Cadet trying to hold on the fort on top of the chat, but the high ground is controlled by the side of Goblin Zone. They're still raining down on Divine.
They're going to bomb in. Can they get Saxophone? They're going to actually save Saxophone as JT's running behind. He's trying to catch Guy, but Guy going to hit a pipe, and Cadet's going to have to back up, but Cadet's behind. He's going to shoot Alex with the bow. Alex doesn't know.
Divine's 5 HP. Does eventually get to the pack, just barely, just a pistol's enough to take down that medic. But Thrembology, they will escape with their lives, but the chaos will reign supreme in Goblin Zone's favor as they take mid. They have a small window where they have a player advantage, but they would have to fight and win this fast. If this doesn't start out really good for them and they continue to stay, this could be it, and Thrembology could be working their way back.
He's going to go for the fake bomb. He's going to land on Saxophone. Saxophone going to have to end up backing up. Wonder is on Sniper again. Last time we saw this, did end up going on a 5K in the end, but he's going to have to back up as, Blue Demo is going to trap lower, so our team has to be a little careful with that, but otherwise, Goblinvite Zone, they're looking in a pretty good position here to, they can stall things out, they can wait till map times comes out and then try things,
Yeah, although it's not like that would be their
well, they could just
victory
run sacks,
or whatever, because they're it wouldn't be their victory because they're low on rounds, but they have the time to wait. They're in a good position here, especially because it's Snakewater last of all things. So it might take some time in the first place, but he got the gun up from the side of JT. No, they're off classes in Thrembology's favor. As actually the bomb comes in, Wonder is able to take down Tomato Tom, so that's going to be the quote-unquote sack for the side of the Goblin Zone. They're going to be okay with that, even though it wasn't their intention. But Thrembology.
Cadet? The lock and load.
Yeah, both teams are like, all right, let's get ready to sack, and before they can commit their plan, someone dies from the initiation.
Alex is going to bomb in. He's actually going to end up... Wait, Magma... No, they're going to actually drop 2, so that is going to be a 2-man. Cadet is down, but he's...
before they sacked.
Yeah, didn't clear the trap before they sacked, and Alex got caught out trying to sack, but both soldiers in the lobby right now. Blue team getting a little aggressive, but the lock and load once again. The lock and load, there's only so much you can do. The weapons basically hit skin. Look at the damage. Oh my god, Blue's eating so much damage.
Yeah, and lock and load once again.
That's down 2 for Goblinvite Zone. If they want to go, this might be a very good opportunity to try to go for any sort of cheeky or a surprise play.
Yeah, the gun's not even at spawn. They're
just getting their men through. Look at this. That's a force.
Towards the enemy team. That's a force. Yeah, that's great from the side of the Goblins. They still have their Uber available. Saxophone trying to work their way onto Zoomzy. Uber will eventually come out just because they see so many players that are a bit too close to Saxophone.
But the baiting blind. There's no point time. There's no point time to get it. There's level 2. And here's the point time. Deadly Seed he's not gonna die this time, but Magma's gotta be careful. Deadly Seed on the point again, has to fight it, but where's the damage? It's not there.
I mean, they pop that Uber in lobby thinking there's so many players forward that they could catch out, and they try to get their way to the spawn, but there was no explosive class to actually reach the spawn, as Zoomzy will fall very, very late from the side of Goblinvite, and maybe even Tomato Tom as well. Pack's not up, Cadet takes him down, and a bit of a misplay in terms of the timing. I don't think that spontaneous Uber of like, oh, they're here, let's go, we can kill them all. I don't think there was a single explosive class that was prepared for it. There was just, it was basically just a scout.
Alex.
Oh, but the stickies though. Yeah, Alex is in
True, but they
kitchen,
don't know. He does. Who cares if he's not watching it? Who cares if he doesn't watch his own stickies? Alex is gonna bomb. Can he get it? No, he can't.
My God.
The damage.
I feel like I've seen that play before from him.
Have you?
I think once before.
Well, does happen. Seems to be a trend. But that actually bought some time. Blue team got so hurt they had to back up in a.
They have the Uber.
Tomato Tom, they're going to end up using, they're going to get Tomato Tom, who kind of either sacked or fortunately got it, and that's going to be an Uber where it might be in a leapfrog situation. Alex is going to spawn and get forward, so they're only really down a soldier with 30% ad. Blue team,
extra dangerous too, because we have entered infinite overtime.
We have entered infinite overtime, so if you mess up and you end up getting on your last, that could be it. And I feel like the story of this game has been Goblinvite Zone. They've had so many opportunities to push last with so many different advantages, and they've only done it once. I feel like they've had many more opportunities to push last than
they definitely have.
Thrembology, you know?
It was like small execution errors in the heat of the moment of it's all the heat of the moment stuff. Like the ideas of to push last and how you do it is fine, and then they actually try to do it, and something misses the mark. But nice air shot!
Yeah, nice air shot there.
Sends it back.
And Tomato Tom is going to get the pack too, and that's going to buy a bit of space, and they're actually going to get through pretty much for free right now. The Uber is dwindling, they got to be careful. There's going to be a fight happening on the flank. They're going to end up trading 1-for-1, and it's Alex. Oh, they finally got him, but JT is going to fall, so that's going to mean, in the end, it's going to be a 5v4 for Goblinvite Zone on the point, but they got to be careful about the respawns, and Deadly Seed's got to be careful as well, but they got to get in soon before Sax spawns.
Yeah, they have a player out here if they want to try this. They're trying to make some space through balcony as they're, once again, putting a lot of damage on the
Oh, the damage, they got averted!
Oh,
Divine's so hurt!
Tom has done so much damage, and Divine stands the rock is slightly too long, the splash doesn't hit. Sax will fall, and this dry has worked out in Goblin Zone's favors. They took the one player ad and ran with it. And it's going to be theirs. They're even going to potentially... Averted should get forwards, I think. But they're going to be able to
no,
still
they're
block
just in. He's not going to get... He is going to get forwards, but who cares?
He's locked in. Yeah, they've already taken so much
It's going to draw eyes, so that could be, you know, something to play off. Tomato Tom getting bullied by a scout. Actually, Deadly Seed going to fall as well. They got to be careful. He doesn't have Uber yet. That's going to be a disaster. They're going to end up... Wait,
gets the
bottle kill?
I'm looking at this bomb in the grass, and Gaia's getting up 6k with his bottle. 7k? Get another, I dare you. There's 2 left alive. They're bombing in. Saxone's going to die. It's just averted left alive, and I don't even know what happened on this 2 right now.
Lock and load. I'm just lock and load. I don't care. I don't care if it's a bottle kill.
It gives him the power.
It gives him the power. It's something about it. Just you see that weapon and something psychological just activates in the other team's brain.
It's not even a strange either. He has no incentive to go for that bottle. He just knows it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a bottle kill, you gotta go for it. This is gonna end up favoring Goblinvite Zone pretty well. You know, they do have 2 rounds to get, but they can try to slow play it, and they haven't been able to work these advantages so far. But eventually, they gotta, you know, the card's gonna end up falling in their favor, and they gotta get this last somehow.
Yeah, it's building up the rest of the Uber. Gun available from the side of JT, moving it centralized, so it's a bit hard to spam from all the different angles and can cover everything. Is just spam through lower. Wonders on banner once again. I don't think we see that from the side of the red team.
Yeah, not yet.
So just the defender's advantage of collecting that banner. It's actually going to make it a bit hard to hold on the last and likes to actually kill Wonder. You might see Thrembology go for a mid reset here if it goes on too long. Depends. It's mostly the balls in Goblin Zone's court, so it's not going to be fully up to them. It depends on the pacing here, but
they're going to end up jumping to spawn. Alex is going to jump to spawn, reload his rockets, try to get in. But the gun. He's in the skybox. He got the gun.
Takes down the gun.
Two for the gun. You know, I don't know if that's necessarily worth, but if you're Thrembology, do you even want to push out a last in the situation? It's sketchy.
If you're confident you can. I mean, they're poking around, which is the bare minimum. You should always try to.
I'm looking at the kill feed, expecting to see lock and load. Oh, they're gonna back up. Yeah. The last time they tried to push out a last, or the last couple times, they just ate a bunch of lock and load.
We do have
that
Magma Spy though.
Yeah, I think Spy makes sense. You still got 2 minutes left, so you can afford like another slow play before you have to, you know, actually start doing stuff. And Spy could be a good one because if you get the medic or even get the sap, that could sap the gun on Alex. It gives you a lot of options, especially with that level 3 just in the power division.
Yeah, Paranoia might sit in though. Divine was spamming Spy voice line, so they know that could be an option. But
yeah, they know they're not.
They can't sit back forever because if red team doesn't do anything for a long while, then they're really gonna know like, okay, they're not doing anything because the Spy is cloaking behind us. That's why.
Yeah.
He's kind of behind now, but
I think they
JT's
know.
turning around.
Yeah, they know.
They don't know for sure.
He can still
but they're
sap
like,
the gun though.
It's still like
Oh,
they're
we
not,
got a base
they're not
cannon.
doing anything. They're not doing anything.
We have a base cannon from JT. He does have the revenge crits on engineer. I saw the glow stick. So they got to be careful for that one. But time is ticking down. I think they're just gonna wait this out. They're okay with fighting another mid, it appears.
Alexander's tried to do a skip jump in.
Oh.
Actually, the stickies aren't going to get dead, so overall going to be a one-man. Tried to buy a lot of space, but will not really find that. Divine's going to be a bit hard to stab, has the dispenser to kind of block things, got a wall up against him to make it really hard to decloak in a spot where Divine can't really see in the first place. Divine doesn't have to do anything except just watch out for Spy at this point, since the team will just heal whoever. But this is going to be rough.
This is going to be rough indeed.
You're probably looking at a sap to the gun so the soldier can actually reach Divine territory.
Oh, well,
but,
there base cannon for engineer, but that means the gun might be easier to spam without the Spy. Oh, he's actually just going to sap it. No engineer to block it as the Spy is going to get he's going to try to get a little bit of point time. That's the best play available to him. But God, they did drop Guy. That's going to be disastrous. They get the gun, but the gun is going to die anyway, so at what cost?
This is going to be really bad for Goblin Zone, because if they rush to cap right now and get overtime, then you're not looking at a round reset.
Alex is going to fall as well.
Slow, and it's going to bite him.
It is going to bite them indeed, but no medic death means that Ubers are going to be relatively even on mid, and they're even going to get Deadly Seed as a spawn. So if they want to push it here, it's going to push 5v6, so that did buy more time in terms of not having to fight another mid, but at what cost? As Thrembology, they want to get out of the server. They don't want to be stuck on their own side of the map, but the
they
5v6...
were thinking about drawing there with Alexandros dead, but they didn't commit. It's a spamming class of all things too. Normally, like, you'd see a scout dead and be like, no, it's just a scout. They have so much spam, let's not do it. But a soldier ball classes, and they're playing it safe for sure.
Yeah, I think they looked at this. They thought about the spawns and they're like, yeah, he's probably gonna spawn as we're fighting. It might be bad. Who knows? So, gonna back up, and also if you wipe there, Goblinvite Zone has been unable to push last, and even at advantageous situations. So like if you wipe there, Goblinvite Zone might get a free last push. So I think they're content slow playing it, knowing that Goblinvite Zone is yet to prove they can actually push last when it's not like a 3v6.
Especially because they literally just showed that if they play cookie cutter and don't do anything super crazy and let Goblin Zone stay in the driver's seat, the things can work out in their favor anyway.
When they're complaining in chat, can you guys do anything at all?
They didn't do anything the side of Thrembology, and they found their way out of the last, and maybe they can do that and find their way out of their own too. As you do have Alexandros behind, so not going to have a soldier to really spam from the forward side, but
he's
still
looking,
still a thorn to deal with.
It is really annoying, especially if they slow play this, because there's only a certain amount of time before someone just like looks away from the door for a second, like you have to commit to someone who's looking for this. And Alex, if he finds something, he's gonna go for it. He's gonna go for something, but gonna able to even do a little bit of damage, as they were very aware of that. And the pressure on the opposite end just wasn't strong enough.
Yep, they're already on the move. JT going through the window to clear the stickies that Guy's laid down, so gonna be easier to enter saw, playing some extra ones, but Thrembology, they're not really committing too far. I think Saxstone just wanted to try to go for a sack.
Be careful.
Oh, nice arrow from Zoomzy, keeping Gaia alive.
But Deadly Seed,
but Deadly Seed chasing too far.
Yeah, that is gonna just end up being a 1-for-1 trade in the end. I'm not gonna hate it, because there was a hurt scout and he was just holding W with him. Because if he can get that kill and live, that could be a potential second push. But end up being a trade in the end, and maybe he goes up and off class or something. There's a minute 50 seconds left. Who knows? I don't know if Deadly Seed is considered he's confident in his off classes, and it's gonna be Spy again. It's gonna be harder to check this time, or gonna be aware of. You don't expect the Spy on second as much as you expect the Spy on last. But this is gonna be, the timing has to be very precise here, because there's only a minute 30 seconds.
And Divine's already spamming voice lines. Is this guy a prophet? The Spy's not even like
he's
the
on the
Spy's
gear.
even cloaked there for you to be like, they haven't done anything. Like how he just knows that they have a Spy.
Yeah, sometimes you can just smell the Spy's stink lines. You can just see the stink lines coming off of the Spy as he's rolling out. Very, very stinky man. He is going to be crab walking on second here, trying to get in position, and this could be a good opportunity for maybe a 2-man if they want to give up. And actually, if they're being forced, they don't even need the Spy, and they caught the Spy, and he's going to end up falling. So it's going to be a 2-man in the end, but the Spy was not needed as Alex gets the force on his own. But it's going to be a 4v6 with Uber on mid. They got to be careful. Oh, the traps, that's going to help a lot.
Oh, JT just sneaks right behind on Tomato Tom, though.
Oh, that might end up... Oh, Tomato Tom, he is going to get Tomato Tom, so that's going to be a 3v5, and now they got to be really careful.
Behind for the pinch as well.
Oh, Magma's got to be careful. Sax is so hurt. There's 2 soldiers behind. They're going to end up just straight up using. They don't want to risk that. They got to get Wonder, though. They get one. They're going to get Wonder at the end, hopefully. Yeah, so that is going to be 2 soldiers and 40%
you're
ad.
okay with that.
40% ad, but this is second, and this resets the round timer again. So actually, I think that worked out. That was fine.
Yeah, you're fine. Like, not only is it getting 2 kills for an Uber, you're fine with that, but Thrembology have to push out of their own last.
Yeah, this
with
is
Uber,
more dangerous. So far, I would think this is actually, it's more dangerous for them to push out a last than it is for them to just sit on last.
Look at Tom. Look at Tom's ready.
Yeah, he knows. And JT's checking off classes. He knows as well. They're tired of the spy and tired of the shenanigans. They definitely, they're aware.
What if it's gonna be a back cap or just like a post type of deal? But they go through. They get some damage.
They spotted him.
Oh, Tom's in lobby.
He's actually doing the loop-de-loop. This actually tier 6. He got out and Magma's behind. He's gonna end up trading out, but that is a pick to be able to work with into second. They're gonna end up recapping this in the end, but Goblinvite Zone, they have Giga Uber out here. They gotta watch for these traps though. This is sneaky one. They're end up just straight up losing. They're gonna end up getting sacks, and they're gonna get averted as well. This could be it. This could be another round, and it could be equalized into another bit. We have a soldier in the skybox on last, but they don't have second yet.
Yeah, they are not realizing the situation here. You can't snowball like this if you don't know the point. They're too excited. Now they realize that they have to back up. Magma's like, guys, I have to cap.
But they didn't lose anyone. I think actually what they're trying there was like, I think they were literally just trying to spam lock and load pipes to see if they hit one, and if they do, they just go, you know?
I mean, if Divine backs up but doesn't, like, bail out, then maybe they buy enough space for, like,
yeah,
one of the
like
soldiers
they're just
to
thinking
bomb
if they could get something. But if they don't see anything, that was fine. It was risky, because if Blue just spawns a sniper, it could have been over for them, but, you know, I like the... I'm okay with the attempt there. I think it's worth seeing if, you know, something shakes loose. Because we do actually have Wonder. He is going to get caught in the door, and this is going to be Uber out, but they're unable to get anything yet again. So the leapfrog at a last, this is getting pretty sketchy. If Goblinvite can walk in and not have to pop Uber, this could be disastrous. Or they could even just get caught out. Averted is so hurt.
Oh,
but can they chase him? He gets the bow. And Sax is caught out in lobby too. They got to be careful they don't get pinched, but they never got the point.
Yeah, still in favor of the side of the Goblin Zone. This ad it's getting smaller and smaller as these exchanges go on here, up to 15% now.
Even Ubers. I don't think you can push it out last. I'm 15%.
I think Divine is breaking beam just enough to where it's like it's 5%.
Or he had to arrow people, like he had to arrow averted as well. So he has to keep people alive, which isn't necessarily conducive to building the Uber optimally. Regardless, it's gonna end up being. You know, Goblinvite Zone, they have yet to show they can push an ad situation throughout this entire match. So,
but now it's too tiny of an ad.
Yeah, now it's too tiny of an ad, but they have time again. They've been content with just slow playing, running spy, going back and forth, but they still have to get 2 rounds. They gotta push last, then they gotta go through this whole song and dance again. So,
yeah, and last time they're in this position, they tried to break in, they just lost it. They ended up having to give up too, so might have to go back to the drawing board, but a lot of aggression coming from Thrembology through lower. They get the 1 frag, Uber exchange comes out to make sure that everyone's saved. Oh, they've blocked Thrembology in to make sure they have to post in lobby. You have to be careful with these traps though. They've conceded the upper area, everyone's escaped and gotten out free, so it didn't really work out.
There is a soldier behind, Sax is behind, Alex is going to look for him, and Alex is going to be able to spot him. Cadet is kind of behind as well, but that seems to be it. If they get this pick, Goblinvite might just puch last if they can get this pick, but
owned. Oh my
Magma
God.
Gets rolled.
Sax is still behind as well.
Yeah, I think I wonder if he just spawn camps Magma, but he is going to end up going there. He is going to... Yeah, Sax is behind, and this is stressful if you're Goblinvite Zone. Stressful if you're the other team too, because if Sax dies for nothing, it's not really worth it. But he uses 3 rockets. He only has 1 rocket, and the lock mode is going to get it. No one to clean up, but Alex is going to fall as well, try to lock out the doors. The sticky trap is up, so if they choose the wrong door...
Oh, no! He wasn't looking at it. He was setting up his second sticky trap. Was unable to watch his first. Just man things.
So close. So he was literally standing in the trap, and the second he, like, literally the pixel he got at the trap's range guy did it. Just demo things as.
And all these shenanigans have killed so much time.
It has killed a lot of time. Yeah, if you're on the side of Thrembology. Do you actually want to get second here unless you have Giga Ad?
Only if it's free, probably. Like, otherwise...
Alex is bombing in,
mid.
but he's caught.
Gone, though.
He doesn't even get the land.
Oh,
But they got averted.
averted!
Wait, that you could push last off of a demo pick, and they got the gun. They haven't even used it. Look where Deadly Seed is. There's gonna be a bomb here. But yeah, they are gonna exchange the super. But Divine, he's not milking.
Deadly Seed's out of... Oh my... What was this? Deadly Seed ran out of Uber and then had to commit too far, wasn't able to get the force. Divine still has the Uber. It wasn't an exchange after all.
They're gonna try to push out a last here, which 30 seconds left. I mean, I guess you want to take this Uber and you can maybe get mid off of it too, but you gotta be careful.
Oh, too early.
Too early. Unfortunate. I don't think he lives this time. Oh, he gets bowed. I am mistaken. He's gonna live, and this is gonna be pretty big Uber at this time. They're gonna be able to actually get into mid here, as only 40% for Goblinvite zone, and
Tomato Tom.
Yeah, Tomato Tom. Is he doing? Oh, he's doing it again. Somebody
Is that
stop.
the way they push, though?
Somebody stop this man.
It's the way they want to push.
Sax.
Oh,
they don't know.
Check for the traps and see the soldier. He has to jump away.
He has to jump away, but that might buy time. They have 70% now, and they're gonna get sacks just off the distraction. There's 2 players behind. They're gonna go for the back cap, and the Ubers are so close. They have to run behind.
Even if they die here, it made sure that the Thrembology Uber was unable to actually achieve.
And look how long they're living. This is huge.
No longer you are able to take mid as Thrembology, as you're just straight up back 2 off of that play.
Yeah, and you are straight up back 2. Yeah, look at this. They're just living. They have to deal with this somehow. But Cadet needs a massive air shot, and he's gonna. They're gonna have to pop here. Both teams are gonna exchange, but there's still a player behind on Magma, and Wonder's behind as well. This is just chaos and shenanigans. But Verdant's caught out. Cadet's caught out as well.
Wonder's in now from lower. No one's able to see. Onto the demo.
Oh, they're gonna actually get him.
The wombo combo.
Goblinzone's
still alive, though.
Goblinzone's still alive. They get Cadets, so that is still, and they're gonna get the point, which resets the time. But they gotta be careful here. The mid's still dead. Demo's still dead. They just want to push in, although they gotta make sure Zoomsy doesn't fall as well. But they're just in. This is so chaotic. They're gonna get spawns.
Wonder's still bringing the pain. It slowed them down so much.
They immediately lose too. They're gonna have to back up. But Wonder. Is he still behind? No, he actually gets out.
No, he was, though, and it made sure they were unable to actually get through the doorway at the same time. That's why it was so disjointed. Wonder will finally fall, though, so it's only one player just added. Alexander still wants to kind of sit here. You know, they know. Yeah, they want to hold it. They know that if they hold this long enough, they have the respawn advantage. They have to make sure they don't die. But guys are really passive. He's in Saw. He's unable to spam this.
They still want to. They're still in the doors though. They still want a massive rocket. Oh, the damage. They can't. They just get the point now, but they might be a little too caught. And they're gonna have to back up. JT is behind it. He's gonna get caught, unable to get anything, and that means they're gonna be 40% Uber ad. Where it's gonna be actually 30%, and there's down a player. So this is one of the best opportunities they've had yet. They're just gonna go in. They're gonna try to milk this.
Verdant jumping away, barely escapes this Uber. Kills
they have the point time. There's no sneakies on the point. They're gonna reflash the scout. They're actually gonna get the point time, but can they get the kills? They get the Uber time. It's Sky on the point. Okay, they killed him at the end, but Goblinvite zone. They still cannot push last.
Yeah. That Uber came in really clutch from the side of Thrembology, though, holding on. I mean, Averted was almost dead there. A lot of finesse to jump away and not actually die there, especially with the entire team. No, like, recognizing that you can afford to slow walk away onto heavy because you know you have the Uber to kind of save things. Also, very huge to make sure that you can hold on to the point. And there's JT's just on the point, too, just in case. In case there's a late spy.
I mean, that's honestly, that would be a way to, you know, get even rounds. That's a way to lose a round that you don't want to have happen. So I understand it, and plus their Uber ad, it's actually only 20%. I thought it was bigger, but apparently not. So that's I feel like this is the round that keeps giving. Oh, and that's gonna be an immediate pick on Wonder.
Yeah, it should be Zoomsy having out because they popped in first and then Divine popped in second.
Zoomsy died though. Zoomsy died.
Yeah, Zoomsy
so it should be. So they are gonna have ad, but it's gonna be even. And Goblinvite zone, they have a pick, and it's a pretty good pick, but they're gonna wait till they have Uber before they do anything. But gotta be careful.
Oh, it missed.
Deadly Seed is just running in, and he's actually gonna buy some space. Tomato Tom gonna end up jumping up, but he's gonna. Oh, he doesn't crater actually. Tier 6 is Alex. They got 2, and everyone lived. Both soldiers lived with like sub 30 HP, and they're just gonna have to back up. So, Goblin Zone, they're so good at pushing second, and they're so incapable of pushing last. The duality of men.
Might be the off classes in play. It's really hard to do anything when the gun is there and available. But Tomato Tom kind of poking the shutter, has Magma there.
Oh,
the arrow comes in too early.
But they're not careful. I think they're just gonna try to. Yeah, they're just trying to get in. You know, who needs ad? You know, we're so bad at the pushes anyway. Let's just get in and see if we can do anything.
sniper up on the field from the side of JT. They had the heavy there earlier to kind of sort things, but actually it's going to be the sentry gun once again, building up, going into last hold mode as both the teams are pretty much content on waiting for the respawner before things really kick off once again. As we're on to another waiting game here on last as the clock ticks down, both teams uber available, and you see Alexandros spawning on sniper as well. This might be our first sniper.
The Alex sniper?
Oh, never mind.
Goodness.
They don't have the sniper anymore. I forgot. They went engineer, and actually it's Wonder on spy of all things.
Yes, so they have an engineer and they have a spy. He's going to be able to call the sniper. And what do you... This is a spy here. Obviously you want the medic, but look where the medic's playing. It's going to be pretty hard to stab Zoomzy in that situation.
You hardcore settle for the demo here.
Yeah, I think you settle for the demo and, you know, accept that. Or maybe even just stab whoever you can just for the psychological impact, you know? The guy doesn't look like he's very aware. Like, they have no idea there's a
when
spy.
you decloak, at least it's a distraction.
Oh, he's gonna go for it, but they gotta... it looks like... Here he goes, he's gonna exchange, but he gets spotted out!
Deadly Seed is able to
He
spot
lived!
It. But he lived? Yeah, he lived. Wow, okay. So no extra... I mean, he has to walk back to spawn probably to switch off, but there's not really a hole for the side of the Goblin Zone to really use, so... Alexandros trying to peek through the sticky traps. Averted laying him down, a bit difficult to really work through over by the bucket area. Has traps of Gaia's to kind of prevent them from really walking onto the sniper and trying to own him, but Gun's still in threat, so neither team really able to do anything too aggressive in lobby yet, except Wonder. He didn't actually switch off of Spy. He's still on it.
He's going for the hero shot, but is going to back up. The gun totally prevents that angle. You have to go the other side if you really want to get the shot, but it's going to be tough because there's a demo there. Alex is going to try to slow peek the door, and 2 minutes left on the clock means that they got to be careful. Alex, he's going to go for the shotgun and back up, and it's going to be hard to get the sniper in with the gun in place. Snakewater, it's a pretty good sniper map. We've seen Jay do some terrible things on this map, but...
Wonder Spy
again?
Oh, this is going to be it.
Oh, he gets the medic,
he gets the scout too! What a play, he closed and dropped down.
That, you know, works in the end. Doesn't work the first time, works the second time. As Thrembology, they're going to try to push out a last. They're going to actually get off engineer, so there's going to be these sneaky. They're going to have to deal with the sniper, though. This could be kind of tough, and they might have to pop pretty early. As you know, if Alex hits his shot here, this could be quite devastating.
They're all kind of hiding. They're out of sight. Like, where are these players? They see two of them out in grass, but oh, here comes the cheese play.
Oh, Alex
2-on-1, on to Wonder. Wonder gets pushed back, but they're able to get the kill. Tomato Tom jumping in the last pass to fight. JT holding the high ground, has to fall down to be able to get this. But he's able to take down both of them.
And that's almost a full wipe. It just zooms in Guy alive. They're going to have to back up, and Guy might be caught. Oh, but the lock and load. Oh, God. No, he gets it in the end, but Alex saying Whiff City in chat is Avert, and he's trying to catch a Guy, but the lock and load, who's put in with who? And it's actually Guy who's going to be the one who's caught out, as turns out Goblin Zone finally, after all this time, Thrembology, able to get off of second. They've identified mid. They can see mid with their very own eyes.
And, I mean, they have the Tomato Tom Bomb. This has to be huge. There's no demo. One rocket is all they're really going to have, so no other spam available. Gonna be back to last is, at least Goblin Zone, they almost have the Uber. 15% left. They're
going in with 10% at 10%.
When Guy is spawning, was able to put any on top of the point, and immediately Cat Tom's gonna
bring out the time for the point, but they're blocking it.
They get the Uber out though. The gun's really passive, swapping off it, trying to chase down over to the shutter to get rid of the Thrembology players inside of last, but they've reset fully. It's a 1v1 scenario in terms of missing players, but down a demo, it's gonna be huge from the side of Thrembology if they're able to get this cap time. Wonder in
They're so hurt. The damage, they're so hurt.
Red team, their health is in the red as the bombs come in. They're on top of each other's models. Melee? Get the one!
No!
Get the
other!
No! Get
no!
It's gonna be for the other team. It's just Divine left alive, running away to Averted, who is rolling out, and they're gonna be okay. They're over by the cheese areas. Alexandros trying to chase. Averted has to be careful. Don't want to give people life. Eats the arrow, is fine. Alexandros can no longer chase, so after the whole debacle, Divine is still alive. Zoomzy had to give up his life, as even though the last push was a failure for the side of Thrembology, they still have a very nice ad to work with to go for a try number 2.
Thrembology, unlike Goblin Zone, have been very successful in their last pushes. That one was on 10% and they almost got it, so this Goblin Zone is not looking too hot for them. They gotta have a last hope for the ages here, as Thrembology, they're gonna get through Uber. They're gonna go lower and see what they can get here. Goblin Zone, they're not gonna have Uber. They do have his level 2 sentry in the middle, in the annoying spot. They haven't spotted the gun yet. They're actually, Cadet's gonna get knocked up into the skybox, but they're gonna get the gun at the end. They have a lot of players on the point. They're gonna get 2 players though. The damage, it's not going the way of Goblin Zone. They're so hurt.
Yeah, this cap time was gnarly. It made them have to play so aggressive this side of the Goblin Zone, and playing that aggressive while the Uber's going on is just going to lead to a very easy setup round win from the side of Thrembology. It takes 2. Just 2 attempts. All that cap time works out in their favor, as with that infinite overtime setting the win limit to 3, Thrembology able to take the match 3-1 on Snakewater.
I feel like that could have been this game could have been so different if Goblin Invite Zone could just push last, but it was the impossible challenge. How many opportunities did they have?
I think there were maybe like at least 4 opportunities that didn't work out their way.
That were like solid, like you should win these opportunities.
Like
But
just like a normal ad, yeah,
yeah,
like
like a
40,
normal
50
ad.
ad.
Yeah. And just unable to get them. So in the end, it's gonna be Thrembology winning 3-1 in an absolute nail biter in the end. But no correct score guessers as well. I don't think anyone saw this one coming.
It can be hard sometimes to get the exact score. You know, whether it's gonna stalemate ad or not, and to what degree. But overall, Thrembology are solidifying themselves, like I said before, as a solid mid-invite team. They're entering the halfway point of the season as 4-5, so we can take a little bit
These
look at
logs
the
are gonna be
logs. And
gnarly.
I mean, no one's in the 300 DPM club, which is to be expected when it's a bit of a slower game.
Yeah.
I would expected more, like people like extremely low, but I mean the explosive class can
Just
kind of
scouts. It's all the scouts were just like, "Hey, I'm holding last, guys. Oh, look, I shot a soldier." Then I hold last for another minute. So not too surprising there. Gonna be Wonder actually with the top damage and with actually a pretty solid KD, especially for like that low, like low or slow long. There we go. Words are hard. I cannot think
Especially
anymore.
even if you like remove the sniper, it's still even. Like because you got a couple sniper sprees in one life, you just focus on a soldier gameplay. It's still a respectable KD. So
Yeah, still pretty respectable. As yeah, in the end, I'm seeing a lot of off classes, but Thrembology gonna win in the end. Only one drop too throughout all of that. And it was just a spy drop. You know, I didn't really even consider like it is a drop, but that's like, those are forgivable.
yeah, it's a different type. Like
Yeah,
there's leading reasons why a medic would drop. And sometimes it's just the medic just kind of like messing up hardcore, and sometimes it's a pick clash just getting you like that, and you say okay, whatever. Only when it's like again and again and again, and it's like okay, medic, what are you doing? You gotta
yeah,
adapt. Get some paranoia in here about sniper and spy class, but if it's just once, whatever.
yeah.
But
Just once, whatever.
I think the stats being like relatively even spare like 1 or 2 discrepancies, like oh, like there's a slight difference in like one of the soldier KDs or like the scout KDs. For the most part, I think the logs really do indeed show that this was a pretty close game, like the
Yeah,
score suggests.
yeah. Both demos actually did a good job not feeding in the end. So pretty exciting. There is 25 and 14 and 29 and 12 respectively is pretty good. Especially Gaia even top bragging for his team. So lock and load. I think it's a pretty good theory. As I don't know if we're gonna have any interviews. You think the other teams gonna be down to interview?
It just kind of depends.
Yeah, we will have to
It's
see.
always pending.
Yeah, it is always pending. I don't know. I feel like that might be one of those matches where it's just like, I'm too tired.
Well, yeah, sometimes a match goes on so long that as soon as it's over, you're like, I'm done. I'm out
Yeah,
of
yeah,
here.
like
Like
literally everyone disconnects.
Like I'm done talking about TF2 for the night. I've had to talk and strategize for like the past hour.
Yeah, I had to hold my own last for 80 million years. I don't want to think about it again.
But
Get me off the wild ride.
yeah, I guess something to do now. We do have another match tomorrow, don't we? It's
I think we do.
oh, never
it was
mind. It was
rescheduled. Never mind.
Debated. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
debated.
that one gets rescheduled and another one gets rescheduled to Thursday.
Yeah,
We'll
so
have to take a peek. But
yeah, stay tuned. To see if we have a match tomorrow. But I guess if that's not it, I don't see any people flooding in for interviews. It appears that everyone's done. So I guess that's gonna be it, Jared. You have anything else?
no, definitely shout. Oh, no,
there
Joe
we
T
go.
is here. There you go.
We summoned them.
Hey, you got you take your moment. You take your moment to kind of bask in the victory, and then you float in.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Congrats on your victory. Hard fought battle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I have diabetes now, but it's fine.
Did you expect the overall result? Because I'm assuming you played these guys once or twice, maybe in scrims, and you kind of get an idea of like your skill level compared to theirs. Did you expect like this really slow paced game where it was going to be difficult to like get all the way to 5 rounds, or?
You go ahead, Jay.
I'll go ahead. I already forgot.
Nah, bro, that's fine. You go ahead.
I don't know. I know they play really baity, like their flank plays really passive, but I also know they play really chaotic, so I knew it was gonna be pretty crazy from the start. So
Was there any point where kind of a light bulb kind of switched in your heads where you realized that what you needed to do to like close it out in the end? Because there wasn't because of how slow it was, there wasn't a very apparent swing as like a viewer to be like, oh, this is where they really turn things around. Like teams like screw up mid fights and then fix them, etc. Was there anything like that internally for you guys kind of realize like, oh, they're just doing this. We'll do this and moment that we'll win, or was it just kind of like chaotic and scattered?
Not really. I think we knew we were playing better, but we just like for some reason couldn't get out of these last holds. So honestly, like we realized like a little too late. We should have like stalemated and just played another mid fight, but
Yeah,
and it ended up just working out where they
it
just fed too many people.
it definitely took us like 3 like times on even last and like 4 team arguments to realize we should just round reset, and then eventually it just went through.
Did
So-
you guys feel like when you were on last? Did you guys feel like the momentum or like the game is slipping away for you? Because I know holding last can be pretty stressful. Or was it just like, we're just on last again. They can't push last. We're just gonna be here. Or was it? Yeah, some teams are comfy holding last. How were you feeling? Were you just like
Yeah.
on last?
There's like a couple of moments where it's like we slipped up a little, but they didn't really do a good job pressing their advantages. So we kind of just sat there and we are just like, all right, let's wait for them to mess up.
I was just smacking the gun, so I was
Now
just
that we're
I was just chilling in the back
The simple life.
for real.
now that we're reaching the halfway point of the season, week 4 is pretty much done for a large majority of the teams. How happy are you guys with your progress as a team? Collecting wins where you can and ending up where you are currently.
I think we're playing well in matches, but our scrims are atrocious right now. So
Well, I'd rather be a match team than a scrim team.
yeah,
True.
I think the past 2 weeks we've scrimmed this map. We've like gone like 1 round or something.
dude, we're just getting demolished by every team every time we scrim this map. I think we scrimmed like Estrogen the other day, or TM06, and they like 5-0'd us in like 10 minutes.
Better that in a scrim than a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, scrims are for learning, so you can learn a lot from losing. And in the match, get the
I'm
dub.
learning a different way. I got my lectures from school in the background while I'm playing, so
I mean, you're playing engineer. I mean, got
yeah,
a role play.
I'm good for both.
Now
But-
that keeping with the like halfway point of the season type deal, now that you've actually played a bunch of matches, you can really see how you stack up against this season's competition. Do you have a change of expectations for your own team? Sometimes like beginning of the season, you're like, all right, we want to do like get at least this place or like beat at least this team. Now that you've actually played some of these teams, has that idea that you guys have kind of set for yourselves as your standards, has that fluctuated at all, either higher or lower, now that you can actually like see match results, see what's possible?
I think we're doing as well as we generally thought we were gonna. We knew we weren't like the worst team, but we knew we were like maybe in like a optimistic world we'll get like 4th or something, like something crazy. But we figured like maybe like 6th, 7th, something around there.
Yeah, little modest.
Yeah.
Set of 6, maybe maybe 5th, but yeah,
I mean,
just, like
yeah.
I feel like should just respect all these teams. Really, I don't really go in like try to tell the guys to like go in every match not expecting to win. Especially
Yeah.
those guys, like regardless if they have 1 win or not, like those guys are way better than anyone's giving them credit for. And
Yeah.
personally, like I got a lot
Yeah.
of respect for them. Like because they got some good grinders and players. They got rid of their like problem players from last season, in my opinion. Yeah, those guys, in my opinion, who don't have really much impact or negative impact, but it's just my opinion. I don't know. Those guys are good players.
Yeah.
They grind hard. They're
Yeah.
willing to learn. I give them respect for it. So
Yeah, I feel like they've gotten much better, especially since we like first scrimmed them in the preseason.
Are there any teams that you're really looking forward to rematch now that you've had a match against everyone?
I feel like not GPG,
3D3M.
Rakusus. Yeah, I feel like that
Yeah.
team we could win if we played on like Gully again or something. But
Yeah, these guys are really fun to play.
mhm.
It's a shame we kind of threw it, but I think we can
Yeah.
bring it back for next one. It'll be a good one.
We'll write that down as a to be casted later then. Any match MVPs? This is a long one. There's a lot of gameplay. Anyone who carried the torch for your team, or was it a collective effort?
Maybe Wonder.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Wonder definitely kept us in check. I think on that last push, I think the really important words he said was, "Averted, I swear to God, you better trap this point. I'm gonna murder you." Or something,
I'm gonna R-word you.
crazy. But
Very
yeah,
eloquently.
give him props to keeping us all in check, keeping us relaxed, keeping us poised for the game.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or questions from you, Space?
I got opinions on the lock and load.
That thing is crazy.
I did get shit on that one time. That sort of like single rotted me, and then I just got lock and load.
He's got like a protractor taped on his screen or something. I mean, like he's hawking loogies from second, and I'm catching him from from like lobby. It's
It's
insane.
hit skin, dude.
Yeah,
I
at that
just-
point it is. It's crazy.
It definitely takes some adjustment.
All right, that's it for me.
All right, well, it's probably time to go over to the shout out portion of the stream. Any final thoughts from you guys before we close things out, starting with Cadet?
No closing thoughts. Shout out Hamsterdam. Good luck, boys. You got this. Fuck you, Mouse Cake. And yeah, that's it.
What about you, JT?
Shout out Amsterdam, Reformed, Thrembo, and Mom and Dad.
What about you, Space?
Shout out both teams playing a nail biter back and forth match. Shout out to everyone watching. Shout out the skis.
As always, shout out to everyone for watching and hanging out with us, and the teams for playing. And we'll try to put on as many matches as you can. I think, like we said, the match that was going to be tomorrow got rescheduled. So pending on if there's going to be a replacement for that or the date it's going to be moved to. But at least you always have the Highlander to fall back on. Like I say, every Monday at 9:30. It's pretty reliable, never really changes. So you have that going for you. Other than that, you gotta wait until things roll around in the next week until other matches get rescheduled. There'll probably be some. It's entering week 5 and things are getting pretty spicy. You gotta collect as many rounds as possible as it's your last chance against all these teams. But for the action tonight, it is over. That'll be it for us. I've been Jarrett, casting with Space Ghost with Dolphin on production. Thank you and good night.
Good night.